Hello, folks, and welcome to a special episode of Satisfactory. It's Sukes. Welcome back. This is an episode I've been wanting to do for a while now, and because this is such a huge part of at least what I do with my factories, and it's super helpful. And I feel like this wouldn't be an apprenticeship program if I didn't talk about the spreadsheets and what I do to plan factories in this game. So let's get started. I want to warn everybody before you watch this. If you don't want any spoilers, there are heavy spoilers in this. And if you don't want to see me peek behind the veil of the game a bit and sort of pull the guts out, just do not watch this. You don't need to watch this. You should just be playing freely, enjoying it, coming up with your own stuff. I'm about to go take a look at the wiki, and I'm gonna take a look at the interactive map. All right. So those are heavy spoilers, and I want y'all to know, and I don't want to sort of ruin. I don't know if I've told y'all this. When I first started this game, I did not spoil anything. It was very good, and I loved it. And it felt like I couldn't decide if the world was procedurally generated or if it was just a regular sort of open map. Excuse me. I didn't know. I could not decide. The world seemed huge because I didn't know. And eventually I found out, obviously. But it was, it made the exploration much more vivid in my mind. I remember feeling like I was a small person in this gigantic world. And it felt amazing, and I don't want to ruin that for people. So if you don't want to get anything spoiled, don't watch this. So let's get started. I want to go through sort of, there's two, I don't have some sort of lectures. I don't have a series, a book or anything like that. I have two ways normally that I plan out factories, and one of them is this, is using spreadsheets. And I have two different ways that you can sort of plan out a factory, and it comes in two different circumstances. It's based on kind of what you need. The first style is what I'm calling limited resource. And this type of spreadsheet or this type of factory, we are trying to make use, and we're working around with the goal being training a limited resource in its fullest. For example, we want to make. I think what I'm gonna do is show my. I'm gonna create spreadsheets right in front of you for you. I'm gonna go through what I did for the starter factory, and maybe just the iron parts, so you can at least understand it. But the limited resource style is basically, we are in this area. I know we have X number of resource, and I want to use as many of those resources as I can. Right? That's the goal of the factory. Okay? And it seems pretty straightforward, but you'll understand why there's a second thing here. The next one is called target production. This is what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you. This is what we're going to do for our space elevator. Space elevator, the goal for the space elevator factory is to produce 5 space elevator parts for each part per minute. That's the goal. So in a target production factory, you're selecting what the final production is going to be and working backwards to see what kind of resources you need to provide to accomplish that. So in one situation, you're working from the resources up, and then from the other, you're working from your production back. So let's do this real quick. I want to show you sort of what I do, and like I said, there are heavy spoilers here. This is the Satisfactory interactive map. Love this thing. I use this extremely routinely. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna find, and I know this is our little beach that we started on. All right, and I'm gonna use these 3 iron nodes for this example. I'm going to, through deciding what a limited resource is, this is my limiting resource. I have 3 pure iron nodes. At the moment, I only, let's just say, I'm gonna do this with Mark 1, and we'll do it at 270, basically. Basically, I'm gonna try to just, if you look here, it's pretty clear what it's telling you. There's 3 types of miners. Each miner gets a double amount of resources out of it. And you'll notice that on the Mark III, when you overclock it to 250%, you have like 1,200 resources a minute, and we don't even have belts that handle that. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go with some small numbers just so I can illustrate the point of the spreadsheet. So I'm gonna start with this. So I gotta adjust my mic for a sec, so bear with me. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna show you how I handle this. We're gonna use a spreadsheet. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna label this as iron pure. I like capitalizing things. And then I'm gonna put iron ore here. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this, and there's a lot of shorthand ways to do this. But this is how I like to do this. I have three iron nodes that are pure, right? So I'm going to put in, and I have Mark III belts, which only handle 270, and I have enough of a miner production to get to 270. So we're gonna add 270 here. All right, now before this, I probably should have started this one down. Before we keep going, I'm gonna make a formula here. And all you have to do is hit plus, you write sum, do a front parentheses, push the up arrow, hold shift, and then you hold the up arrow all the way till we get to the top, right there. And then you hit enter, boom. Okay, and then I like to do this, where I hit that and I hit plus and I click this cell, and now I have that number here. And on top of this, I like to do this. There we go. So now I know in total I'll have 810 iron ore. Now, I didn't mention this before. There's a lot of tools that you can use, and if you feel like it, go look at those tools. There's like automatic stuff that can, I think the interactive map has like automated sort of things that you can do. I don't really like using those because I like to sort of understand a little bit more the details. And this helps me to be a little bit more hands-on. I actually need to keep that zoomed in. So we have iron ore, and in order to get the obviously we can't make anything out of iron ore except iron ingots. So we're gonna go to our Satisfactory wiki. This is the wiki if you have not seen it. And we're gonna, like I said, there's a lot of spoilers here. You do not need to do this. So I'm gonna find the iron ingots. Oh, I just put ingot, that didn't work. Iron ingot. And I know this recipe by heart, but I'm gonna show you. Iron ingot, it's 30 iron ore, 1 smelter, 30 iron ingots. Really simple. So what I do is I'm gonna skip a line here, and I'm gonna do iron ingot. That's the recipe we're using, and I like to put that recipe there. And what that recipe does is it takes 30 iron, it takes 30 ore, so I put a negative 30. And then we're gonna put a positive 30 here, and we'll label this iron ingots. Right? And all we have to do here is we'll just drag this, and we'll drag this. And so this is 1 smelter making 30 of these ore into 30 ingots. So obviously we're gonna have excess ore. We don't need it. We need to, this is a limited resource situation. I need to get all of these ore, turn them into ingots. So we're gonna copy that, and we'll just paste it till we reach the bottom. Let's see, boop, boop. 3 more. Don't, I like to, when you get to this bottom line, I like to just drag and you right click and insert. So now, boom. Now, if we look up at the top, we have 0 iron ore. So it takes 27 smelters to get through all this iron ore and turn it into ingots. Okay? And now I'm going to show you another thing I do, because normally I view this thing like this, but it's kind of small for y'all. And I want to be sort of, you know, make sure y'all are able to see this stuff. So I think I'm going to do, I can do this. If you go like this and you go group, you can make this small all of a sudden, so you don't have to see it. So here, I'm actually going to start this. So here we have 27 smelters, each doing 30 ingots. 30 ingots. And we have 810 left. Or we have 810 iron ingots, right? So this is where you have to sort of make some decisions about the production. Iron ingots, and the wiki is perfect for this. This first section here is how you obtain it. So you'll have all these recipes to make iron ingots. And then down here, we have stuff that you can use iron ingots for. In particular, a lot of this stuff we're not going to, you can obviously use this stuff to decide on other things, right? There's alternative recipes here. This is a good place to find good alternative recipes. But specifically, we need to make iron plates, iron rods, and screws, right? On top of that, I don't really know how much to make, right? Like, how do I know how many modular frames to make? You know, I don't know. I don't know how many modular frames to make. It's kind of hard to decide. Let's see. So now that I know how many ingots I got, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna make a little line in here for each of these recipes. So this iron plates take 30 ingots and make 20 plates. So let's put this in here. An iron plate. It takes 30 ingots to make 20 plates. And we're gonna copy this down, and actually you can also just, I like to do this too, because when you get to the bottom and top of these spreadsheets, you really don't see well. All right, and then we'll put iron plates here. And we're gonna make a line for each production. Iron rod, check the wiki, 15 to 15. So it's minus 15 ingots for 15 rods. And here we'll put iron rods, right? And yep, this needs to be carried over here. Also, we need screws. Screws, we do have this cast screw recipe, so we can use it. We'll have iron ingots, so we're gonna do 12.5 to 50. It takes 12.5 and makes 50 screws. All right, now there's three high level things that we gotta make. We gotta make reinforced plates, and we need to make rotors, and we need to make modular frames. And we want to sort of try to maximize this, right? So let's look at our reinforce. So we're going to start. So there we go. I'm going to make a tab for reinforced plates, for rotors, and for modular frames. So reinforced plates, and we'll just use these base recipes here. Actually, no, we'll use these. Let's see. We'll do this one. 90, 250, and 15. So reinforced plates will take 90 iron plates. They'll take 250 screws, but they'll make 15, I believe, reinforced plates. Yeah. Now rotors. And I'm doing this. This is a setup for us to sort of analyze and decide on things that we want to make. We don't want to use copper and steel for these rotors, so we're going to just do this. 20 iron rods, 100 screws. Man, that's a lot of screws. 20 iron rods. Oh wait, I messed this up. No, I didn't. This is iron rods. I can see down below. Let's make this our plates. This will be rotors, and this will be modular frames. Okay, rotors was 20 iron rods, 100 screws for, I think it's 5, or is it 4? 4. For 4 rotors. Now modular frames, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna use this updated recipe that we used in our starter factory. 7.5 reinforced iron plates and 140 screws. 7.5 minus 7.5 reinforced modular plates minus 140 screws for, excuse me, 5 modular frames. So already I see something I want to do. It looks like this is a nice easy split for reinforced plates. This reinforced plates make this recipe makes 15 reinforced plates. This modular frame recipe takes half of this. So if I do 2 of these, I'll perfectly use up 1 reinforced plate recipe. So what I can do is I'm just going to decide here, I want to make 2 of those. So now I'm going to store 15 and I'm going to store 10 modular frames here. Now, this being said, this is sort of the time where it's really on you to understand what you need and what you don't need. Modular frames aren't used in a lot of recipes. They're really only used for heavy modular frames. And but those are extremely valuable parts, so we definitely need to store some. We don't need a ton, but we do need some. They also make power storage, which is another really important thing that we use these for. So we're definitely need to make a decent amount. Rotors are really useful. They're also used in a ton of building, and reinforced plates, they're used for belts, so we definitely need to make a ton of these. So we'll here's what we'll do. We'll get all of these above 10. And another thing that I'll tell you now too. I'm looking at rotors, and I already know. I know rotors are used in motors, and I know that in my starter factory I wanted to have motors. So I really some of this stuff, if it's gonna go into higher level stuff, you kind of have to know what the higher level stuff is. So in this situation, in order for me to properly plan out this iron production, if I was planning on sending these rotors to motors, is I'd have to have a decent idea of how many motors I wanted to make. And this isn't going to be a huge problem for this sort of tutorial, but in your personal spreadsheets in your factories at home, you need to be aware that as you plan these things, if you're planning on sending this production that you're making on the spreadsheet anywhere, until you plan out that future section of your factories, you're gonna have to just take a guess at how much you're gonna need. If you look in the rotors, there's obviously some high level stuff here. The motor recipe is really the only important, and smart plating, if you wanted to do a smart plating thing. But if you're for example, I don't know if I'm good if I would want to send some rotors and make some smart plating. See, that's not here. I don't think I want. I knew I was going to make a space elevator factory, so I knew I didn't need to plan for that. But I'm not going to show you all the planning of the steel part, but I knew how much I was going to be able to make. I knew I was only going to have, one assembler for motors based on the steel that I had available. In order to make stators, it's 15 steel pipes. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to make that much. So I wanted to make at least 10 of those. So I need at least 10 rotors for motors. So let's get this to 10 and see where we're at. Because basically, that's 12. I want more than 12. So I'm going to write here in the margins here, 10 to motors. Right? I know that 10 are going to go to motors. So I want to store more than 2 a minute. That's not a lot a minute. So let's add one more here. 6 a minute. I want to try to get to 10. We agreed that we were going to try to get this to 10. And boom. So now we'll have 10, 10, and 15 being stored. So if you notice, I've only focused on these sort of high level parts. And what that has done is made these negative numbers here. So now the goal is to try to meet the demands of the rest of the factory. So we're going to, let's start with screws. And I'm gonna insert a bunch of cells here, and I'm just gonna copy, and I'm gonna paste, see where we get to. Minus 480, so that's what, 9-ish cells. So let's do this. We're gonna do more copying. 30. Now let's add one more, because here's something else to say. So now I am in the positive for screws by 20, and that's perfect, because storing 20 screws is really not that bad, right? You don't need screws for a lot of things. So we're gonna keep this production at 20. I don't need a lot of screws. Honestly, I don't think I need 20 screws, but we're gonna produce some just in case. Next, we got iron rods. We're down 85. So let's add a few of these. Iron rods are important. So we're going to make sure we're overproducing. I'm gonna add 2 more. Let's just start there. 20 rods. All right, we're still not over on our ingots, so that's good. And let's make these iron plates. These are where we'll really be sinking iron ore. Let's see where we're at. Perfect, 20 iron plates, iron ingots. So here is where we're at. We've met the demands, and we're sitting on 65 ingots. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're making 20 of these bottom parts, and over 10 for each of these higher level parts. Now, this is where you sort of get you're playing sort of a counting game. I can maybe I want to try to squeeze a little bit more modular frames, and so I play with these formulas here, and maybe I'll try to do a modular frame. Maybe I expect to use a lot of reinforcement. Let's just do this here. I can put this recipe and I can try to back into the 65. I think that this is decent. This is really going to be enough for personal use, but you can this is where you gotta, maybe I just want to add another reinforced plate, and then you try to make that work, you know? Let's see, I'll try to do that here. I didn't do that at my starter factory, but these take 5, so let's add 5 here. See, already that's not going to go good. I have 2.5 and I'm short on plate. So let's undo this. Undo. I didn't think that was going to work, and that's fine. Let's try it with rotors. Why not? See if we can make a little bit extra rotors. Let's add 2 more screws. Boom, boom. So now we're good on screws. Iron rods, though, are short, so let's add iron rods. So this is good. We have 20. Now we're at 25. So really, that only took 40 iron ingots to make another set of 4 rotors. And so for these 25, I'll show you something that you can do. This spreadsheet, I have 25 iron ingots left and only 30 here. So let's do minus 25. That's obviously not the full recipe. What you can do is if you take 25 and divide it by 30, you'll get this 83, probably repeating number. And what you'll do is to double check, you do plus minus 30 times 0.833333333 until you get this minus 25. And then you do the same thing here, 20 times, it's got to be a positive 20 times 0.833333333, whatever, right? And then I like to do this here, where I copy this, and then I put like 83.33%. So I know I need to underclock this one and get rid of that because we don't need it. Now we've used up all our ingots. We're producing a little bit of extra iron plates, and this is our production. And this is how I had planned my starter factory. Now, this being said, this does not go through how you get, you know, 1,400 screws to, you know, 10 assemblers. You know what I mean? This is a whole different problem. For example, and this is sort of the way you have to think about it. Our plates platform was needed 500 screws. That's really easy because we have a 50 recipe. So we just take these, and I'm gonna box those. Those are going to reinforced plates. And what I'll do is I just make sure I take these 5 constructors, put them on one line, and take these 5 constructors, put them on one line, send them this way. Really easy. Here, we got 600 screws that need to come in. So I find those, it's like these, all these are gonna go to rotors. And in 100 lines, or you can do them in 200 lines and then split them when you get there. But you can't go over 270, so remember that. So that's sort of the next part of this game that can't happen on this. It can happen on a spreadsheet a little bit, but this is mostly programming, planning out your outputs and inputs. And I like to do, oh, thank you, support assistant. I don't like to try to build the factory on the spreadsheet. I like building the factory in Satisfactory. And I like deciding how much I need to build here, because this is where I end up getting stuck, where I can't decide if I want 5 more modular frames a minute or 4 rotors. You know what I mean? So this is what I did to figure out how much I wanted from the starter factory. And what I did is I just clicked here and I found all these nodes, and I determined production levels based off these limited resources, right? Excuse me. So that is what I did. Now I want to show you the second sort of strategy for factory making, and that is, I'm calling it target production. So let's get rid of these. Let's find smart plating. This is what I'm going to show you some of the strategy, what I basically, the layout for my space elevator factory. It is going to be, so let's start. The difference between these two is where you start, right? Here you start with these these resources. I know this is the X number of resources I have, and I need, and how much can I get out of these? And then I try to meet these sort of ideas of what I need down here, right? I know I want to make these parts. I don't know how much I can make, so let's sort of come up with an idea of how much I can make. This is different. We're gonna start with this recipe. Two reinforced plates, 2 rotors, 1 smart. Oh, you know, I'll go over that later. 2 reinforced plates, 2 rotors, 2 smart plating. It's really simple. Smart plating. And I'm gonna put up here somewhere, I'm gonna do R plate and rotor, right? And then we're gonna do smart plate. The smart plating takes -2 to reinforced plates, a -2 to rotor, and a +2 to smart plating. Let's make this more my way. Let's do plus some all the way up here, right? And then do all this stuff. I'm so used to this. I do this all the time. Excuse me. All right. So this is the difference, right? I know what I want. I had in my head, I know I just want my space elevator factory to make 5 a minute of each space elevator part. So let's start with smart plating. We'll do this, this. Oh wait, that's one too many. Luckily, this is really easy. It's 2, 2, 2. So we're just gonna make this 1. We're gonna make this 1. Oops. And we're gonna make this 1. Right? And then I'm gonna note here that this one's underclocked by 50%. Really easy. Now, all I'm doing is filling these requirements. Smart plating, this is good. But now I gotta make 5 rotors. Let's open up the rotors. And again, 2104. So we'll do 4 rotors, and we'll add 2 rows, columns, sorry. We're gonna have iron rods, we're gonna have screws, and let's do all this dragging nonsense. And so we're gonna have rotor, takes 20 rods, 100 screws for 4 rotors. Now we're short 1. So what is 1? I'm sorry, you got to do plus 1 divided by 4. 25%, obviously. Really easy number, so we're going to do plus 4, which is the output for the rotor, times 0.25. And we get 1. And here we'll do, we have to do a plus to indicate an equation. So plus a negative 100 times 25. And we get that number. Plus negative 20 times 0.25. Obviously you can do this kind of stuff in your head, but I'm just showing you what I do. So here we have we're gonna have 2 assemblers, one underclocked to 25% to get our rotor production where it needs to be. Next is reinforced plates. All right, same thing. We're gonna use our alternate recipe because it's way better. Actually, we might not. Let's see. This makes 5, this makes 15. How much do we need? 5. So it's honestly just gonna be easier to just use this recipe. 30, 60, 5. So we need to get our iron plates. I hit caps, plates. And then we're gonna let's do our plate. We're just gonna have 1 assembler, and I believe, what was it, 30? I'm gonna double check. 30, 65. So minus 30 plates, minus 60 screws, plus 5 reinforced plates. Boom, boom, boom. Done. All right. And I don't need to underclock anything, but now look, these are our demands that we have to meet. So let's go and click, let's open up screws. I'm gonna open up iron plates, screws. I already know what this is, but we'll look at it anyways. 12.5 to 50. So here we go with screws. Oh, another thing I didn't really show you, I like to do the recipe here, casted screw. So, and I like to designate it as an alt recipe. And then let's put iron ingot here, because we need that next. So let's do minus 12.5 to screws 50. So now we'll do bop, bop. Now, obviously we're about to put in 50. You'll see we go over. We're gonna have a positive. We're not trying to sink anything in this factory. I don't want to have any excess. I want to get it perfectly right. So we're gonna do plus 35 divided by 50. 70%. All right, so plus 50 times 0.7. Plus minus 12.5 times 0.7. All right, we're getting this spot on, perfectly accurate. And this is at 70%. So when I build it, I know I have to underclock that one. All right, make sure you delete that because then it leaves a weird percentage thing there. As you see, we have enough for screws. Now again, this doesn't tell you how to get these screws into this. It might be easier, right, to maybe just have one screw producing 50 and then one producing 10 and merge those for this. You know, there's something there, but we'll look at that later. Anyway, let's look at iron rods. So iron rods was easy. In fact, I'm not even gonna look. It's iron rods. They take 15 ingots and make 15. And they're cool because they're 1 to 1. So this, as you can see, we're making 5 too many, so we need to make 10. So if we take 10 and divide it by 15, we get the repeating 6 number. So if you do plus 15 times 0.66666 to 10, I like to just put 10, and then minus this to minus 10, because you can get some weird decimal stuff happening. And then you go 66.67%. All right, next is iron plates. They do minus 20. I'm sorry. They do minus 30 on the ingots to make 20 plates. So this is pretty cool. Obviously, we need 10 more, and this makes 20. So we're gonna put this at 50%. I know this is 10. I know this is 15 because it's half. And then we got iron plates, and then we'll make this 50%. Boom. Just like that, I know exactly how much I need to make 5 smart plates a minute. I need to get 160. You can even go further. Let's go a little bit further here, right? Iron ingot, and let's insert one column. Iron ore. And I mean, this is where it kind of gets a little bit, you know, it doesn't matter that much, but it's going to be minus 30, 30, and then we'll do bop, 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 up. We're getting close, and this is where I'm like, I don't really care too much about being perfect, but we'll see what we got. Ah, cool. We do get a decent number. Plus 30 times 0.875. And this will just be the same number, just, you know, negative. Real easy. 87.5 though, we need to remember that. So these iron ingots are going to be at 87.5%. Perfect. So now this is a real easy number. We'll just get a miner, right? And we plug this number into the miner for production, or, you know, obviously we have to decide whatever. This is also the part of this where you have to sort of decide where you're going to put the factory at, right? Obviously, it's not hard to get 116 iron ore. And this is an extremely simple setup. You know, this is what? 6 assemblers, 8 constructors, and 4 smelters. You know, that's not hard to do. But that is the target production method for spreadsheet and factory planning. It's you're starting with this. You're picking a production amount that you want. Maybe it's not smart plating. Maybe you know you want 10 heavy modular frames, and you plug this recipe in, and then you just sort of start checking off demands for other parts, and you come up with this list of raw resources that you need. And this is sort of the setup I like to use, and I'll show you one of the benefits of using a setup like this, and doing this the way I've done it. For one, you can count how many miners. Let's say I want to plan how much power this takes. That's a huge thing, right? Maybe I want to know how much power this factory is going to draw, right? And you can use this spreadsheet to help do that. You have to know a little bit, but it's not too bad. Miners are going to be a little bit weird because you overclock, underclock miners. But what we'll do is we'll just put a count here. And miners, we are going to have 3 miners, right? And we'll just put 3. This is counting. Iron ingots. Highlight all that. 27 iron ingots. And so that means that's 27 smelters. Now constructors. Constructors are going to make iron plates, iron rods, and screws. So all that together is 48. 48 constructors. I can't type. And then assemblers, it's just going to be these high-end parts, which is 10. 10 assemblers. So you can look on the wiki if you want. Like, here's an assembler. Assemblers take 15 power to use. 15 megawatts. And so you can do megawatts per machine or something. This is 15. And then you can look up for the rest. I think I know the rest off the top of my head, but let me just do this. Smelter, I believe Smelter's 4, and I believe Constructor's 4. Smelter 4, Constructor 4. 4, 4, and miners are different, like I said. You, for one, when you overclock something, it's not like a linear, it's not a linear power draw. It's sort of exponential, so it's not perfect, but I'm gonna just put this number as a placeholder. 5 megawatts, I'm sorry. Yeah, we will only need a Mark 1 miner, so it'll be 5. So now if I just take the amount of buildings I have times the amount of megawatts they draw, I can have all this. I'll have this, I'll do a plus some. I know for this, I need to have 465 megawatts of power available to run this factory. And I kind of know this for my starter factory already. And that's one of the reasons I like doing this sort of recipe line by line like this, because it gives me an idea of how many buildings I'm gonna have. And I have to know what the building type is, obviously. But this is sort of a nice way to sort of figure out, by doing this, if you just lump sum, so you could just lump sum and be like, make this like 180, this 500, and this 30, right? But it doesn't give you the information of like, you need 2 assemblers to do that. So you miss out on the potential of using, of having this sort of functionality in your spreadsheet. Another thing too you can do that I've done specifically for extremely large builds is you can do this, but for construction parts required. So like, I know like an assembler, right? An assembler takes, let's see, takes 4 rotors to build. So I might need to prep for like a big build, something that requires, say, like 50 assemblers, and I know that because I planned it in the spreadsheet. So if it takes 50, I can take 4. I'll have like how many rotors I need to have ready. It would be 4, and then you just take 4 times the number of assemblers. So I know that I need to have 200 rotors ready to go. And you, by doing this spreadsheet like this, you sort of have that option available to you for more information. Let me see if I'm willing to give up a little bit of my sure. I have, man, I don't know if I'm going to show you all these. I do have a space elevator one though. Is this, so I already had these planned, and it's similar to what you just saw. Iron ingots, iron plates, all this stuff. And this is what I've previously done. And I have this for, this is for smart plating. I have the cumulative demand, cumulative output, and I have a power usage here. So for this setup, it's going to take this much power. Now below this, because this isn't the only part, I have it for versatile frameworks. This is going to be my versatile framework section, and this is the power draw for that section as well. And similarly, automated wiring, and so on and so on. So I think that's really all I wanted to show y'all. We went through sort of the methodology I use for now. This is all sort of like, obviously I knew these are simple. These are really simple. You get into the late game and there's stuff that like it produces, it's way more complicated, but I'll say I've used this exact method for every single type of production, and it's very easy to do. I love this. I love being able to see how much I get. I can what if I took this away? What happens? You know? And it's extremely valuable to me for somebody that doesn't have a ton of time to sit in game staring at all this stuff, trying to plan it out on the fly while I'm building. It's extremely valuable to me to be able to come into a spreadsheet and have an idea of what I need to put down. Even if I don't know how I'm going to lay it out, it's good to know that I only need to make X constructors. And then it's just my job on the fly to figure out how I'm going to lay those lines out appropriately. You know what I mean? And it's extremely valuable to me, and I wanted to share it with you because it's it seems like you can get frozen in game because there's so many things you have to think about for production, and it's easy in game especially to get overwhelmed by that. And I want to show you that it's really easy and not that bad to plan out what you're going to do in a spreadsheet, and this makes it way easier. Another thing I wanted to say too, use this. Look at all that. Like you can decide. This is a super helpful tool. I've used this routinely. Like I know exactly what the resources are. I'm coming over here pretty soon. This is where I'm putting my space elevator factory. You know, I want y'all to if you want, get in on this. Try to use your spreadsheets. I wanted to try to help everybody here at the Fix It Apprenticeship program learn how to use these spreadsheets, make your plans. I don't have a ton of time, and this is something that is a time saver for sure. Because I tell you, getting in game and then trying to decide how much stuff I want to make is so sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. And this is extremely helpful. So I hope this was helpful for you. It definitely helps me on a regular basis. I wanted to share this with you. This is a little bit of a bonus episode. I think I'm just going to release this sort of outside of my normal schedule. I haven't even gone over my normal schedule. But what the plan is at the moment is to release at least a Satisfactory video, whether it be a long play or a let's play, every week. And I have currently I'm sitting on a priority for getting the let's plays out, because those are that was getting a decent amount of traction. So I wanted to sort of put that in sort of a priority state. So the long plays will come out. It's just if I'm maybe slow on getting a let's play out, I'll try to get I'll get a long play in there. It'll give me a little bit of leeway in getting out at least a Satisfactory episode to y'all every week. So I wanted to do this. I'm glad you watched. Thank you for watching, and let me know. Share spreadsheet stuff that you have with me, because I think this stuff is super interesting. I love the maths in this game, and I'm an accountant, and so spreadsheets are right up my alley. And this is and I'd like to see what kind of stuff y'all do to plan your factories out. So just let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and well. Yeah, it's over. Bye.